A common misconception about content creating and, well, many other things in life, but today we'll keep it stuck on content creating and something I hear all the time. As a matter of fact, this was a misconception that even I used to say a lot, and maybe I still do from time to time, but I try to catch myself when I find myself speaking like this. And well, let me give you the example first. Yesterday I was having a conversation and someone said to me, I wish I was as talented as you guys when it comes to speaking on camera. And I had to remind this person that there is kind of really no such thing as talent. Well, not in the way that people tend to use it. People tend to conflate skill versus talent or talent versus hard work, right? These are the most common conflations in general. So when you're looking at a creator who seems to just have it all together and they're knocking it out, you're watching something that has really come from a lot of reps. And yes, we say this constantly. I'm probably beating this, to the end of this candle. I don't want to say what you thought I was going to say. But yeah, it's different. And so I guess instead of just making that statement again, I want to dig deeper into that statement to make sure that we start to get a clear understanding of what it is. So the reality is, and I always say this, everything is learnable. Every skill is improvable. And then people assume that, you're just naturally gifted or you're just naturally talented. And no, maybe not. I'm going to say no, but let's just give you the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, but let me explain the difference. Again, a skill is something that is learnable, but talent is the rate at which you can acquire that skill. Skill is something that is learnable, like drawing, but talent is the rate at which you acquire that skill. And that would mean like you're really good at color theory, you're really good at depth perception, you're really good at what we would call shading and lighting or chiaroscuro. And you're really good at space and negative space and filling the right space up, delivering the mood. Those are maybe talents. Those are maybe something that you probably got nurtured into by your surroundings. If you're exposed to art, you're probably a little bit better at understanding color and space and things like that. But still, that's not to say that a person who had no original talent couldn't practice hard enough to blow by someone who is quote unquote naturally gifted. It happens constantly in many, many arenas. So it's easy to fall back on, I lack the talent to do X, and so I won't get started. That is one of the easiest things that we could do in life, and you kind of just shouldn't. Because content creation itself is a skill. Speaking on camera, editing, learning lighting, creativity, all of these skills can be developed over time. I didn't know anything about lighting until I did. I had the benefit of learning pretty much everything I know about lighting from two people, my dad, lucky me, and a guy named Victor Milt, who is an award-winning lighting director. And, the one thing that Victor drilled into our head is that light isn't about controlling the light. Light is about controlling the shadows. And so I learned a lot of things about light, using practical light and making, functional light and putting shadow where shadow needed to be, deliver moods and things of that nature. But I could teach that to anybody at this point. I wasn't born knowing how to light. I definitely wasn't born knowing how to edit. And I definitely wasn't born learning how to speak on camera. And remember, we're of a certain age. Cameras were different back in our day, right? So all of these things came from practice and just doing it more and more and more. And I guess the other thing is trying to get it all at one time, right? Skill involves exponential growth. You can't gain it all at one time. So if there's anything that you want to get better at when it comes to content creating, I like to do these things in sort of 1 month sprints. I like to take the beginning of a particular month and this is the thing that I'm going to work on for that month. And I'll go hard for like 30 days on that particular task. And if it's want to go more, I'm more in tuned or I'm really feeling it, I might stretch it out to 60. And that's how we got here today, where, let me check real quick. I always forget what number it is. We're on day 311 of posting these videos because I just wanted to keep it going, right? So The best way to get these skills the way that you want them so you feel good about them is let's do something really simple. First, let's take an honest assessment of your current level and set a clear outcome. So if you struggle speaking on camera, let's focus on that. And then give yourself a number. Let's just use 1 to 10, right? If someone was asking me what was my number for speaking on camera, it's 10, right? I got thousands of hours of speaking on camera. Prior to that, though, I did radio for decades. So I'm used to just talking with nobody else in the room, right? But my first air check, as they call it, it was dookie. It was absolutely dookie. I wish I had a recording of it somewhere. It's on a cassette, but I don't know if I still have it. That would be embarrassing. So understand that. But now, let's dedicate some time every day to practice, even if it's in small chunks. If the only thing you could do is crack your camera, crack your microphone, and speak to it for 30, 40 seconds at a time, that would be better. If you could do 5 minutes at a time, that would be better. But again, I say this a lot. Record yourself without the pressure of publishing. Just record yourself. Take the Apple Voice Notes app and record yourself. Take a picture and put it on the camera. Stand behind the camera. If you need to get better at lighting, try moving the light in your space around in different shots. You need to learn how to use your camera better. Take one menu item in that camera and go through that for as long as it takes for you to understand what it's doing. Nowadays, ChatGPT has something called learning mode. You can go to ChatGPT, you can click on the learning mode, and you can go, tell me what white balance is and how to achieve it with the Sony ZV-E1 or whatever you have. This stuff is really, really simple nowadays. And then once you get this down, you need to leverage the repetition. Understand the more that you practice, the more comfortable you will become with that particular task. And I'm not a huge fan of the word comfortable because I think people overestimate what that looks like. But the biggest thing you could do is avoid overcomplicating it. And just skip the, expensive classes or, some other kind of training stuff. Really, in the beginning, just start out until you have a foundation. Because one thing that I've also found personally, when you take a class to try to do something that you feel that you're lacking a skill on, sometimes the class does nothing but open the wound wider. Sometimes the class lets you know how far back you really are. And unless you're ready to deal with that, that could be extremely disheartening. Yeah, keep that in mind. And the last thing is find a way to track your progress, right? Where's my little notebook here? Take your little notebook like such, go into the back, make a bunch of boxes, draw 30 lines, and just check off and see how you're doing. Just make sure that you're getting some time in every day. And the biggest thing to take away from this, that first 10 to 20% of improvement will be the hardest part. It's kind of exponential. It's like, again, my favorite analogy is moving a parked car. Those first 7, 8 steps, hard as hell. But once you get it going, it's good. Well, unless you're pushing uphill. But once you get it going, it will just keep going. It's momentum. You got to build that mo. So regardless of whether it's editing, speaking on camera, titling and descriptions, thumbnailing, learning audio, just break it up, tiny chunks, and get in there. But understand, somebody else in your definition may be more talented than you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be more skilled than you. Yeah. Think about it like that. I've watched tons of people go through the process, like family-owned restaurants. And when the kids first start working there, they're kind of fumbly and bubbly, and now they take over, they're running the show, right? That's a prime example. That's a prime example of what it looks like to just be in the system long enough that you eventually get there. And I like to remind you, none of us could walk, talk, or wipe our own butts in the beginning. And I hope you can do all of them right now. Food for thought. You know what I say? I don't know who need to hear this, but if it was you, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video I think you should watch, and I agree with him.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them.